I'm recording this the day before Challenge Almere, which is going to be a little bit tight for time, but hopefully you saw my last video where I did my race prep bike session for Challenge Almere, which was 3 by an hour. It's a TC session, it's pretty standard, and yeah. So I'm just on a bit of a course recce, going to do a lap of the course, and they're repairing it. I mean, it's great news really, because at the end of the day we don't want to be riding on rubbishy roads, so good job Almere. Sucks my course recce, gonna have to try and find a way around, but I think I'm on the way up to the dam. I'll give you a look at what the dam looks like. It's pretty epic. Very windy today, hopefully it's not going to be like this on race day. So I just came down a really ridiculous path down there, and now I'm pretty much back onto the dam. Bit of off-road, not what I want to be doing on a time trial bike. I've just come from that way, rode about 15 minutes, no turn-offs, and this gate stopped. It's okay, I'll jump over, but that could have been a nightmare if it's any bigger. That looks very true. Wow, very windy. Yeah, I feel as though that's really put me in a good place for this race. It is pan flat. I've done the full course, so going from the top swim, pretty decent course. We missed out the first buoy when I did a recce with Andy Horsfall-Turner and Florian Angert the other day, but other than that, it's pretty straightforward. It's 2 laps of the course. It's meant to be a little bit died down and calm tomorrow, but when we did it and the days leading in, it was a little bit choppier. So I don't think it's going to be like that. It's going to be a pretty smooth swim. Hopefully it's plain sailing as well, in terms of just trying to be as far up the field as possible, as per usual, without expending too much energy, which isn't always easy. Obviously, like, you want to be as far forward as possible without kind of burning too many matches. So I'll have to be sensible. It's a long day out, but yeah, it would be really nice to be in the mix, and that's kind of what I'll be aiming for come the end of the swim. I think Lucas Voits will be off the front, and if he's not off the front, then towing a few people along with him, but I think it depends on what he wants to do. He's that good of a swimmer. He's the one who led out Roth and almost killed me when I tried to go with him, so hopefully I've learned my lesson there. Coming through transition, it's pretty straightforward, out onto the bike, which is not so straightforward. It's quite a technical section out onto the loop. So it's the first, I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes to get onto the loop. It's going to be a little bit twisty turny on bike paths. It's going to be really hard to overtake people. Probably the position that you go into those bike paths in is where you'll stay, and you've just got to hope that no one slips off the front, and hopefully people slip off the back, but not actually slide out, because the morning dew could cause a little bit of slippery roads around that time, so got to be careful. And then, yep, out onto the bike loop, and the bike loop is roughly just under 90k. Basically it's probably 85k with the 5k in and out onto that loop. Very, very flat. There's basically no elevation the entire way around. The only thing that we'll have to contend with is the wind, and there are so many very, very long straights, and it will depend on where the wind's coming from as to whether or not you can use the wind to your advantage, or disadvantage. It depends what other people are doing and how good their legs are as well. So hopefully the position that I'm in on the bike, my legs turn up on the day and they're powerful and strong and I fuel well throughout, and I'm able to stick near the front of the race right up until the end of that bike. That would 100% be the plan. Just ride smooth, ride strong, really try and like limit those spikes and surges, because from Roth, what I learned was when I tried to bridge over to Rudy, that just burnt way too many matches. I wasn't able to actually absorb the carbohydrates that I was putting in my body. I was sweating a lot. And all of that just basically, essentially caused me to bonk towards the end of the bike. And I can't afford that to happen on this race because the run's going to be pretty quick because it's also a flat course. So I want to be able to get to the end of that bike in as good a position and physically in a good position as well, so that I'm able to deliver a good fast run for me. There's a pretty strong field of swim bikers especially. Good triathletes at the end of the day, but specifically good swim bikers. So I think it's going to be pretty busy towards the front of the race, in all honesty, and I think that there's probably going to be a decent group up front, whether or not they work together to stay away or whether it's kind of just a bit more tactical. I have no idea. We're gonna have to see on the day, but yeah, it'll just be a case of working with those guys, making sure that I'm positioning myself correctly within the bunch. And yeah, it's a 12-meter draft zone, so I don't know how much you're going to actually get from that draft zone, especially as the wind could play a massive factor in that. A crosswind, you're basically getting nothing from being 12 meters back, and it's so open that, yeah, it really depends where the wind's coming from and whether or not you can hide or whether or not you're taking the wind if you're at the front. So all things to be considered on the bike, but overall, really great course, and I'm looking forward to just laying down some watts and seeing how fast we can make that course go. Just on the run course, just met Eddie and Steve, fans of the channel, so hey, if you're watching, so nice, love it, fucking love it. So good to like just meet people that are watching the channel and hopefully be inspired by it and this, that and the other. But run course is awesome, just pan flat, nice tarmac. This is one of the only hills or rises on the circuit. Pretty stunning. I'll show you now. Onto the run, and it's 4x10k, and it's very flat. Again, a few little rises, but literally barely anything. It's going to be a case of how quickly can you keep that turnover going, cadence high, stride length nice and smooth, and yeah, just keep fueled and hydrated. That's my biggest thing personally, is staying hydrated throughout that run. I tend to start sweating profusely when I'm on the run because there's lack of wind. It's not meant to be too hot on the day. It's probably one of the coolest races this year, so that's going to play in my favour, even though I've done a little bit of heat prep leading into this. Never a bad thing, just because had I not done it and it was hot, I would have kicked myself, but there's no downsides to having done it, essentially, even though it's cold. So, and by cold I mean it's like 15 degrees. It's not like Baltic or freezing or anything like that. That's going to cause people to struggle, unfortunately. But it's cool enough to kind of keep my engine a little bit cooler, able to put out the kind of power and speed that I'm capable of doing. So that'll be really interesting. I think by the end of the run, it's going to be, well, by midway through the run, we'll see where people are at, whether there's any gaps that are closing or maintaining. And then, yeah, that last 10K, which I've yet to kind of really nail down. I'm hoping to kind of manage my effort throughout and really have a good last 10K, but that's yet to be seen, because at the end of the day, we're athletes, we're always greedy. So it depends how like much of a lid I can keep on that last, or that first 20, 30K as to how well I go in that last 10K. I'll try and practice what I preach and be disciplined, but just get carried away with racing. So yeah, that's kind of like my course preview and how I'm feeling for it. I think feeling relatively good, better than I thought I was going to after the rocky lead-in and after the last race. But yeah, it'll just be interesting to see how that converts into a race performance, to be honest. The one I don't really know is my swim. I think that my swim might not be where it has been in the past, but the bike and the run seem to be in pretty good place. So, or be in a pretty good place. So we'll see how that converts, because at the end of the day, it's swim, bike, run, not two disciplines. I'm not a duathlete. So yeah, stay tuned. I think it's 6:25 local time and 7:25 GB time, and on the channel or Challenge Championship or Challenge Family live stream. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.